everyone, welcome back to the True Crime Friday podcast. This is a little bit different. If you are listening on audio, then this is definitely not different for you. But if you are watching it, then welcome to the first video episode of the True Crime Friday podcast. Now, as per usual, quick disclaimer before we start this episode. This episode is going to contain a lot of mentions of cannibalism, necrophilia, bodily fluids, bodily parts. Necrophilia, did I already say necrophilia? Maybe. Dismemberment, stalking, breaking and entering. Very disturbing details of things that a lot of people may find upsetting and or disturbing. So if that is the case, then this may not be the episode for you. We are not here to glorify any of these criminals at all. We're just fascinated by them. We're not right. So, yeah. Enjoy the episode! Welcome to the first video version of the podcast. I've got to ring Matt now. This is the thing that you always see, you always hear me. You're listening then, same thing. But I've got to go ring Matt, make sure this works. This works. Is this gonna work?
Hello? Can you see me?
I can't see you. I can hear you. Day one of doing video ones and it's already fucked.
No. It shouldn't be. That's why I'm confused, because I can't see you.
I mean, you're not going to be able to see me because I'm using mine on OBS. That's probably why. So I can make screen sections. So I can...
Well...
But I should still be able to see you.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to use my camera via OBS, so that my camera's not flipped, because Discord flips it. And I installed the right thing to get it to work. But we will get this. Hang on.
Sorry, everyone. This is the first episode. Of course, we're going to have to... Well, not first episode, but it's the first time we're doing it by... Like, we're doing a video version. So, obviously, it's not going to 100% go our way. This is episode 25 of the True Crime Friday podcast, and I had to pick a gruesome one. Yeah, I hope everyone if you are watching this instead of listening to it, I hope you like my background. It's pretty much just my room, well, one part of my room. That's my crime shelf. It's got like skull on it. It's got books on serial killers on it. All the finery, and then dungarees like right next to it because they are currently drying. Because I was debating on wearing these dungarees for My Chemical Romance on Friday, but I've decided I'm not doing it. I mean, I'm not wearing those. I'm still going to the gig. I'm not missing that shit.
Yeah, oh lord, I might have to deal with I might have to deal with a flipped camera.
It might just have to be the flipped camera too.
Oh, how would it be honest for that though? Was based on the science. Hang on. Let me close everything. And then...
Yeah. How are we getting? How are we going?
How are we going? Everything's good. What?
How has your week been? Let's start with that. How's your week been?
It's been okay so far. had to come into my day off, so that's not a good sign.
Yeah, that sucks.
But we move.
Fair.
Why can I not get? Oh, this is Discord. There's any Discord mods. Listen, why have you not got a flipped cabinet option? It's like I hate this when apps do this though. They have like box standard features they just don't add in that people need. Why?
You could just weirdly share your OBS screen, maybe. That won't work.
I do that. Oh wait, I can do it this way. Hang on. Yeah, you can see me now, but it's flipped. But when I try and go to OBS, it just decides not to. It's like, whoa, it just won't deal with it. I don't know why. Oh well, I might have to have it flipped. It's so annoying. I don't want it flipped because it.
Yeah, I get that.
You need to activate virtual camera and OBS. How do I do that? Oh.
I mean, it was up and now it's not. Now you're gone again.
Wait. How do you add a camera to OBS again?
You go on sources, click the plus, and then there should be a bit that says a video capture device.
Okay.
I'm currently using OBS now. That's how we record all this shit, even before it was video. So I've got everything in video form, but it's just like a screen that says that's got the logo on it. I got my tea already. I've not got food today, and this is a thing I want to recommend to absolutely anyone who is listening or watching this podcast today. Well, this episode, don't eat while you listen to this. That is my utmost, best advice I could possibly give. Don't eat while listening or watching this, because the things I'm going to be telling you today are fucking disgusting. And you're going to regret it immensely. Not good.
Mm-hmm.
Matt thinks that I can't gross him out, but I feel like some of the things I'm going to tell him might just do it. It's not a long one. This one is nowhere near as long as our recent episodes. But this one is just... There's going to be a big discussion about it. I can already tell. I was like, I can get the amount I can actually manage to find. Because this is a case from... there we go. I can see you. No, now I can't.
Why? I apologise. I'm just going to have to be flipped. Are you flipped for your video? You're not flipped, are you?
No.
See, that's so annoying. I don't want to...
Just be flipped.
I guess I'm gonna have to be. I don't really use. I really don't.
I've got myself.
Installed the. I'm gonna give it one more shot. If not, I've royally screwed it.
Little doggies on the mug. It's like an actual I've got an actual full brew with me today. There you go, little factor I'm drinking. I don't drink during the week, so like alcohol wise, I don't drink during the week anymore, so sticking to the tea despite how disgusting of a thing I have to discuss is. So I hope you all I hope you'll like the videos. We should.
Oh, this is really pissing me off. Excuse my language, how hard this is. This is technology. We're in the 21st century. Discord, get your crap together. OBS, get your crap together with a virtual cam. I'm going to give it one more shot for this, and if not, we'll have the flipped cam. Much to my hate, I'm going to hate having a flipped camera when we do this. It's going to really bug me, but you can call me lame, guys, but it makes it so much better when I don't have to go to the left, oh no, whoops, the right, every time because the camera's flipped. I want to try and show something, it won't be clear because it'll be flipped.
If you can show anything, like, that's to do with this case, I'll be highly disgusted.
Well...
I'm just showing my mug, and that's literally all I'm showing, and then my background, and that's kind of it.
What is this? 2.0, yeah, that's the... I've
got My Chemical Romance stuck in my head because I'm literally going to see them on Friday. I've got
yeah, I'm going to see them on Monday, so...
Yeah, boy. And next week we're recording back-to-back episodes, because... Well, not back-to-back, I'd say, like, Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe, because... Festival season is upon us. And I'm going to a couple of them that are very close together. So I've got Slam Dunk Festival next week, and I'm going to Slam Dunk North, and then I've got Download Festival the week after. So we can get out a few episodes while I'm away. So yeah, I've got a few planned. You should enjoy them. At least I hope so.
Yeah, do I have to restart Discord to see this crap? No, I see OBS cam now, but I don't see... Oh, I gave it my best shot. If anybody knows how to fix this stuff, and you could get OBS virtual cam to work with Discord, because the Discord mods were dumb enough to not have the flip camera option, yeah, they had every other bloody option under the sun, that they just decided, you know what, why would we want a flipped camera? You know how needy people are in the 21st century, that there's basic things we just want, we don't get. I feel bad now, but it's honestly just done my head in. Yeah, look. Oh, well. I watched an YouTube video and it says, you may have forgotten to activate the virtual cam in OBS. Yeah, if you're going to say this is the option and then don't tell people how to do that option, it's plain stupid. That's me going like, oh, you didn't do this. How'd you do it? And just don't say it. Come on now, really? How do I...
It's just all chaos.
Oh, I really... You know how I'm so stuck that I want stuff to work? I tried to figure this out beforehand, but I didn't think it'd be an option. How do you activate it?
Instagram,
set your green screen with proper... I don't have a green screen.
No, do I? Probably should get one, but I can't.
Video capture device. Select another super camera.
Also, shout out to the other Matt, who's a regular listener of the podcast, who is currently asking me, is this episode going to be the most fucked up one yet? It's up there. I'm gonna give
this extra. Who's this other Matt?
It's the Matt who gave us a 5-star rating, which you can do. Go do it. It helps us out. Apparently, I don't really know, but I've heard it's quite handy.
Oh, he's the guy that gave us the 5-star.
My hair's hiding my headphones as it should. Are we just gonna do the flip?
After this old method, is your OBS updated where you just see start virtual cam in the corner?
My OBS is always updated. Otherwise it crashes, as I have experienced when I was streaming once, and it just crashed mid-stream because I didn't update it. Always update your OBS, guys. It saves your ass when you're like in the middle of a good stream that's going actually well for once, and then it's just a...
Yeah, what version is your OBS?
Oh, fuck.
What does it say at the top when OBS is open? OBS.
OBS 27.2.4.
Oh my lord.
What?
Oh my lord, I'm gonna have
How old's yours?
I'm on like 23. This is why it's an issue. I can fix this now quickly. It's adding more time to this video anyway. I do apologize. My OBS is still up to date. I use OBS. I use OBS Streamlabs, so that's why I just do not update it.
Yeah, that'll be why.
And it is so old, which is why it's not recognizing the plugin, and virtual camera's not an option there, which sucks. Actually, because the webcam that I have is a Logitech.
Oh, so it's a good
webcam. And it has its own software, but like it just doesn't obviously flip itself in Discord. It's just turning into a rant about Discord.
This is a long episode, and the first like half an hour is trying to get a video to work.
Hey, but when we get it to work, it'll work. Hopefully, yay! Hopefully, yay!
We'll get into the pod, guys. Don't worry. We'll get into the horrific.
Yeah,
crime.
I just wanted to see if I can do this. If this don't work, then it don't work. But I like quality, and I don't want to let a disservice down. Yeah, but here we go. Start virtual cam tools. Oh yeah, there it is. Whoops. So what happens if I do this? Can you see me now?
No.
Oh, now you can.
Now we can. Now we can. Yay!
Is it? Am I flipped or what?
How the hell am I gonna know if it's flipped? I've not been to your place.
Can you see the writing? Is everything backwards?
No. No, it's not backwards. You good?
So that logo that says Fender isn't backwards?
I can read that it says Fender, yeah. You good?
Ah, yay! There we go. My OBS wasn't updated. Now you can I see myself? On my screen I look flipped, but to you, I'm not flipped.
No, you're not flipped to me.
Ah, so that's I'm plugging Fender right now. Fender have a physical gear. But no. It works now. So this is the setup. Do I look good?
Oh yeah, I like it. Am I primed?
No, I moved my studio around a bit. I will turn you up a bit. You can hear me fine. Yeah, I moved my desk around and stuff, and so be it. We're doing videos now, so you can see my setup. I'm just gonna point this out now. A lot of people, when they do see my webcam, not that I've done it with you, but people might go, "What's that in the background?" Feel free to just drop a message and ask about anything I have, because I know people ask questions of, is that in the background? And I'll be like, yeah. But
yeah, now you guys know what we look like. If you don't follow us on our personal Instagrams, you actually know what we look like now. So, yeah. Nice to you guys to finally see us. We just thought, why not? Well, I thought, why not try and see if we can do some video episodes now that Spotify allows videos on podcasts now, so might as well. Some people like me, when they're getting ready, like to sit down and watch true crime podcast videos instead of listening to it. So
it's good listening and watching. You get the best of both worlds. Sometimes, I doubt in any of the previous ones we've done where someone's thought, I wish I saw what Matthew was doing at that moment in time.
I'm literally normally in a dressing gown with a cup of tea in my hand, with my feet up on my bed, because my bed's literally like right here, like next to me, and that's pretty much what I'm normally doing. There's no glamour about it. I've actually put on makeup for this. I don't wear makeup on Tuesdays because I normally go to the gym, so I don't wear makeup on Tuesdays. So anyway,
yeah, for anyone else, I usually always have an energy drink and food. Although I was told not to bring food because apparently it's grim. Well, I know some stuff about him a little bit, so but I won't be grossed out. But
yeah, he's a very weird.
Popcorn. Oh, I'm ready.
Okay, so this guy is he's weird. His reasonings for why he did what he did is baffling. Beyond you can't think of any reasoning, obviously, on why he would do it, but to him it's all logical, and I don't know why. So this is a case from, technically it's from Paris, but it's also from Japan at the same time, because he is from Kobe, Japan. And his name...
To all our Japanese listeners.
There we go. And if you are from Japan, he is obviously a celebrity for you guys.
Is he the most he's the only Japanese one I kind of heard of, so I'm assuming he's the most popular Japanese one there's been?
It's not more like, like Bundy popular, or like just known for, just known because he's a murderer. He's actually, famous. He's done interviews with Vice.
Mm-hmm.
That interview is on YouTube. It's age restricted for a very good reason. There is a lot of images that he took of what he was doing to his victim. I have seen the images. I regret it massively. It is disgusting. It next level grim. So yeah, we're just gonna dive right in. I've only got a bit on his early life, not too much of it, but this is mostly about what he did to his victim. So his name is Issei Sagawa. He is known as the Kobe Cannibal. He is from Kobe, Japan, and he is a cannibal and necrophile known for the killing of Renee Hartevelt in Paris in 1981. He basically murdered her, then mutilated, cannibalized, and performed necrophilia on her corpse for over several days. And that's what we're going to be going into, because that is very much the basic, but he includes so much detail into how he did everything and how he felt and just a lot of stuff. So he was born on the 26th of April 1949 in Kobe, Japan, to very wealthy parents. So his father, Akira, was a businessman who had served as president of a water industry company, and his grandfather was an editor as well, so there was a lot of money in this family, which we'll go into a lot more. He was born premature, and reportedly he was so small that he could fit into the palm of his father's hand, and he immediately developed enteritis, which is a disease in the small intestines. And he did recover, obviously, after several injections of potassium and calcium in saline. So he ended up being fine. I mean, based on what he eventually goes on to do, I'm kind of annoyed that he ended up being fine. His fragile health and introverted personality led him to develop... he ended up getting a very big interest in literature, which is fine, which is normal. He's normal so far. He attended schools in Kamakura, and this is where he first experienced cannibalistic desires in first grade. So his interest in cannibalism started at a very young age. So he was in first grade when his first urge to do all this stuff began. And he said this all started after he saw a man's thigh. Now, I don't know about anyone else, but I've seen a guy's thigh before, and not once have I decided to think, you know what I want to do? Eat someone?
There's some body parts which people go, oh, I want to nibble on that. If you know the context I'm meaning. But seeing some guy's thigh, and then that, I don't understand that. And especially at that age, I mean, taking an interest in something like that is a little bit messed up. If, you know, if you're interested in learning about it, like, we're doing a case on it now, that's not bad, because we're just interested in people who've done it and, you know, researching cases. But we're not in any way interested in actually eating someone. So the fact he was interested in that way is a little messed up just because it's from a thigh. And that's not even a lot, though.
No.
That's just one part of some guys. But I don't know how people can just see the slightest thing and it sends them over the edge, if you will. You know what I mean?
I don't get it because like a thigh's a thigh. Like you walk around in the summer and every person's wearing shorts or something. Like you can see the thighs, and not once have I thought, you know what I want to do now? Like no. Now go on.
I was gonna say it's you know something's wrong with someone if that is making them something so small is giving them that urge. I mean, and I'm not gonna say anything just because he's of Asian descent. People like that all over the world do that. It's not just specific geographical locations and people, but I just think it's if someone I knew got turned on by something so small, I would say, well, something's really not right with you because that's not normal.
Yeah, exactly. In a 2011 interview with Vice, we all know who Vice is. The website Vice, where they do all the documentaries and interviews, blah, all that kind of stuff. And the fact that he has an interview with them is insane. So he said during this interview that when he was a child, he took part in bestiality with his family dog, and he experienced cannibalistic desires for women. He's also done a bit of bestiality as well, which is also fucked up, because I don't understand these people either. People who take part in bestiality, why? I don't understand. I don't get it. I really don't get it.
I think, and I'm no expert on that, and it's messed up now, but do you not think it's one of those things where, because ancestors, and you could probably go back to the cavemen, some of them just did that because they didn't know what's wrong from right, and because some of them have done it, it's just passed on. And I know we look back on stuff the previous generations have done and gone, well, that was a mistake, that was messed up, should have never done that and learned from it. I think because it's been done, that it's just passed on through genes of folk, and it's just some folk get that desire even though they know it's wrong now, but because ancestors have done it. Because I'm pretty sure the Egyptians did some of that stuff. Correct me if I'm wrong, but
yeah, possibly.
Now it's ridiculous. Yeah. I mean, you've got pets and I've got pets, and the thought of that is just far beyond anything I would ever think of doing. Well, the fact people engage in that and get out of, like some enjoyment out of that. I mean, human biology is pretty self-explanatory to most folk. Humans date other humans. Animals go for the animals of the same sex, or same type of animal. There can be animals that engage in gay or bisexual stuff I've seen, but dogs don't think, wow, there's an elephant, well, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I don't understand why people have the human tendency to go, you know what, yes, that. And it's weird because I recently saw a skit on Family Guy where it was of Noah's Ark, and basically Noah's Ark, like, what the hell's this? And it's basically a penguin with an elephant's head, and the penguin's like, oh well, see, the penguin or the elephant was like, oh well, he didn't say there was any rules against that sort of thing. And then Noah's like, well, what's this? It's messed up, it's wrong. Which is why I don't understand why people do that. Why would you? It's wrong. Sorry, I'm going on a rant, but I've heard about so much cases of the bestiality, and it always just like blows my mind and makes me be like, don't, please.
Yeah.
For the sake of the animals, don't, because they clearly don't want it.
Yeah, exactly. So he attended Waco University and completed a master's degree in... What?
I just said that was butchered.
Yeah,
that was not said correctly.
Oh yeah, none of what they know by now. None of what
you need to learn.
I know, but I'm not going to Japan until I know this cunt's dead. So no.
Fair.
So he completed a master's degree in English Lit. At the age of 24, while attending the university in Tokyo, he followed a tall German woman back to her home. She was actually working on the course that he was doing. He then broke into her apartment while she was sleeping. His intention was to cannibalize her by slicing off parts of her right butt cheek and sneaking away with a small part of her flesh. Now, I don't know what part of him thought that he could just do that and sneak away. Like, you can't do that subtly, like, at all. What part of him thought, let me just do a little bit of a slice and then just jump out the window? That's not how it works. You're gonna get caught. And lo and behold, she woke up before he could do any of that. And she pushed him to the ground and all this kind of stuff. And then she rang the police. And the police charged him with attempted rape. And he was fine with this charge because he was like, that's a lot better than what I was going to do, so I'm just not going to tell you what I was gonna do. And his charges of attempted rape were dropped when his father paid a settlement to the victim, so that was not on his record at all. But yeah, the fact that he thought that he could sneak away after slicing off a piece of
what's weirder, though? It's when the people, like what he's done, you know when people just like, oh, I'm going to cut someone, this sort of thing. But when they go, oh, I'm going to cut this specific piece, makes it even more weirder that they have, like, an envision of, I just want this bit. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm no serial killer, but or murderer, but, like, the thought of just that specific piece, how nitpicky they are. He just wants a bit of the bum cheek. It's I hate you for the fact that you're gonna try and cut someone, but going into details of what specific parts you want, as if the other parts are worthless compared to the one bum cheek you were gonna get. I don't know how the brain works out. Oh, I want this piece more. Like, ooh, I want Matthew's nose, but see that left cheek or his right cheek? Oh, I don't want them. I just want the nose. Like, what? What?
Yeah, he carries on to be very specific about what body parts he prefers, by the way. So, in 1977, at the age of 27, he moved to France to pursue a PhD in literature, and he did this in Paris. He said that while living in Paris, and quote, almost every night I would bring back a sex worker and then try to shoot them, but for some reason my fingers froze up and I couldn't pull the trigger. So he was a very short man. He was just under 5 feet tall. His hands and feet were very small as well, and even his voice was quite high. He had mentioned in some interviews that he wasn't the kind of man most women would find attractive, and he said this made him very self-conscious, and he said that this might have fueled his obsession with the perfect woman because they didn't find him attractive in a way. But yeah.
It's a little sad though that he's had to think like that.
Yeah, but he looks like a creepy little shit, and I don't really give a shit what his feelings are because he's tried to bite off someone's arse cheek.
Yeah,
Fuck him.
That's horrible. But I'm just saying that I hate it when people think that way, because everyone, you'll find someone. A couple of times I've maybe thought, oh, no one likes me for the way I look. But then you need to learn to work on yourself and appreciate how you look, which I have done in more recent years. But the fact is, people have that longing thought of, no one's ever going to like me. I need to find the perfect one, which is probably the reason people do some of this stuff, because everyone else makes them feel like poo for a reason which isn't really that much of a reason, because they think it's a big deal when it's not. If that makes sense. He's obviously made it such a big deal, the fact that he can't get anyone, and he thinks that nobody wants him, when in fact that's not the case, and it's made him go worse.
I mean, he doesn't help himself sometimes.
He really doesn't. No, what he later doesn't help himself at all.
The way he acts around women doesn't help. It really doesn't help. Like,
No.
so with his victim in particular, when he first saw her, he would just draw pictures of her from a distance. I've seen the pictures. The shit. The fucking shit. I don't care. In the interview he was doing, they show pictures of her, and then they show pictures of his sketches, and made the fucking shit. Like, no, like, if someone drew me the way he was drawing her, and showed me it going, oh, I really like you, like, here's a picture that I drew of you because I really liked you, and I was too scared and nervous to come and talk to you, I'd be like, oh, fuck off. No, but hey, why are you watching me from a distance for that long, you fucking weirdo?
You know how bad it would be if he's just gone, I need this picture of you. Oh, that's shit. Oh, you gotta pay me for it. But he studied literature. I mean, hey, I studied music, and I know I can't draw. If you saw me when I draw stuff on Scribblet, which is basically like a game version of Pictionary that I play with folk, you understand why I studied what I studied, because I can't draw. So I know for sure his drawings would be absolute crap. I mean, I've not seen them and I want to, but the fact he studied literature and he thinks, I can do a good drawing of this girl, and like, no.
Looks like a shit version of the Scream. That's genuinely how the picture looked, and I'm not even joking. Like, the face was all like, bleh. And I'm going to show you a picture of Renee, which is the woman that he later went on to kill. I'll show you.
Did he draw a stick man? Was it basically a stick man with a sun in the corner?
Oh god, that would have been an improvement. I would have actually had
a little sun in the corner.
I would have actually had pity, because it would have been like childlike, whereas this was just like, he could tell where he did like the strokes and everything. I'm like, oh no, you wanted this to look good, but it just looks shit.
Did he use colours? Did he use colours at all?
He did a couple of colours, but it looked like it was like blue and red, so it just it looked like he was trying to do like 3D shit.
Fuck me, man's getting close to Pablo Picasso level. Whoa, slow down, mate.
So he was obsessed with tall women with very specific features, and they were all they have to be like very pale, like just very white women, mostly blonde.
Any particular features?
It was very much like
big titties?
No, it was all about the bum.
Ah, thought so. Now I thought I'd have to ask.
Yeah.
You know.
So when he first saw that German woman that he originally tried to eat, he said that when I first met this woman in the street, I wondered if I could eat her. It's not a normal thought process. It's not, no.
If he said I want to like eat her, as in out, then that's semi-normal-ish.
I would have called him a perv, but at the same time would have gone, yeah, nah, fair play. You just a douchebag. Like, okay.
Yeah, you know, you see, if you met someone, right?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm a single person, but if I saw someone, the first thought for me is not, I wonder if I can eat them. My first thought is, oh god, I hope they don't look at me. Eye contact. But this man's thinking, oh, I'm gonna eat them? Yeah. Bro, he's on another level. That's a level of like, I don't even want to know what else he thinks about on a daily basis, let alone just in that moment.
So, yeah, during this entire time he's in Paris, he was just basically becoming more and more obsessed with fulfilling his fantasy. So when he went to Paris, it was a few years later that he found a woman that he basically just couldn't stop thinking about, which fair. So she had pale skin, and in his words, she had a fleshy shape to her bum, and her beautiful features both repulsed and drew him in. He started to try and get himself closer to her in more of a friendly way at first, but I have never heard anyone describe someone's bum as fleshy shape.
The fact using the term bum, come on.
I can't!
Say ass. Their fucking ass. Wait, it's obvious that someone's got a fleshy ass, because it's fucking flesh. Well, who said? That is weird though. You know, it's on the level of if you went up to a girl and went, those are some nice honkers. No one says that. Apart from me just saying it now, but I have a question though. Like, he's in France, right? When is this? Did he just learn French, or did everyone just happen to speak Chinese and English?
Well, this woman's Dutch. I mean, that doesn't help, but like, she's Dutch, and it's in the night. This is right now. This is 1981.
I mean, I'm not saying he doesn't know anything, but I've just thought about it now. He's Japanese.
Yes.
He's in France. You know, you know, maybe there's some English-speaking people, or he's learned English. But I assume the fact that she's Dutch, he's in France, there's some definite language barriers because you don't go everywhere, especially because he's Japanese. He's not going to go everywhere and expect them to all speak Japanese. I mean, we get it lucky being people who speak English and Scottish that places abroad learn that language, but.
So one thing to add is the fact that he knew German, and she spoke German. So there's that bit to add.
Wait, she's Dutch but spoke German.
Well, this is a whole thing that he does. He won it the day of the murder, which we'll talk about in a bit. But he basically just brings her in and he gets her to read a German poem out to him. So yeah, no, so, she speaks German.
So she's from the Netherlands though, right?
Yeah.
She might have been from the part where there is probably some German-speaking bits in the corner. I know it's weird to think that, because I know, especially in some European countries, when you live practically on the border of a country, that the language can like leap over. Not the case for you, because when you do come up, you see the lovely sign that says "Welcome to Scotland," which is the best sight that you guys can see in the UK. If anybody comes to the UK, the best sight you can see is that sign that says "Welcome to Scotland." But you know, there's no language difference there. I mean, there will be in Gaelic in some places. There is signs up near me that's in Gaelic or Gaelic. But you know, if you know, he's managed to get by, and I think maybe the fact that he didn't speak that much French or whatnot, he could have lured people a bit better, maybe, if that makes sense, because he could just use hand gestures and just, you know, not say stuff. Because if they spoke Japanese, and then obviously, well, I'm just thinking of it this way, right? He speaks in Japanese. They're gonna have no idea what he's saying, and he could be saying, "Oh, I'm gonna kill you right now," but you don't know that because I'm speaking Japanese. Lol. And they're just sitting there going, "Oh yeah," you know, and he seems all nice and friendly, but in reality, if they heard what you were saying, they might have exited the door quicker than you could say anything.
True. So while he's studying in Paris in 1981, he spots Renee, and he says that he sat next to her in a class and he fell instantly in love with her, and he couldn't stop thinking about the white skin of her arms, which is very weirdly specific, but this guy's fucking weird. She was the perfect woman for what he wanted to do, but this time he had to be a lot more careful and obviously not get caught before he gets to do what he wanted to do, like with the last person. So Renee was 25, she was blonde, and she was very independent. She was out studying in Paris on her own. She spoke 3 languages and had a bright future with the aim of getting a PhD in French literature. He asked her to teach him German, and since his father was very wealthy, he could pay her to do this as well. And she was obviously like, yeah, okay, yeah, no problem. According to him, she liked his obvious intelligence, he's a bit fucking full of himself, an ability to discuss everything from Impressionist paintings to Shakespeare to European literature. He wrote her love letters and invited her to concerts and exhibits, all this kind of stuff. So he was a very small, feminine kind of guy, and he walked with a limp and all this kind of stuff. But she went with him everywhere. She invited him over to her apartment for tea a lot of the time, but she saw this in like a friendly way, and obviously he didn't. They used to dance together, and this made him like happy because he managed to be a lot more physical with her, which is what he wanted. And exactly like that.
Well, it is the 80s. That's how they would have danced.
Yeah.
Yes, wunderbar. Or whatever she was saying.
Yeah, maybe. So he found her very overpowering, and he was all in love with her and stuff like that, and he wanted to possess her but also destroy her. So yeah, he's a weird guy. So one day he invited Renee over to his apartment for dinner. He asked her to read a poem by his favourite German expressionist, which she did. After she left, he smelled and licked the place where she sat and vowed that he would eat her. that would allow him to possess her forever. For audio listeners, I'm not laughing at the fact that what he wanted to do. I'm laughing at Matt's expression when I said it.
God, it's just the image of
him licking it.
Anyone who's listening or watching, and you sniff someone's panties or sniff where they've sat down, shame on you. That's fucking disgusting. The fact he's licked it. Oh, imagine if she just done an absolute belter of a fart. Just fucking let one rip. She left. Is it fart? Is that what you call it? Because girls fart, apparently, guys.
Yes.
I'm just saying it. I don't really know. But the fact is that he's gone and licked it. And the fact is, you know how much germs are on that? And he's gone and really licked that? That's only the type of stuff you do with the lads when it's truth or dare. Or I dare you to lick that seat I've just farted on. I don't know if she's farted, but like, who does that? Come on. Bro, did he never at one point stop and think, yeah, I've just licked a seat and smelt a seat that a girl sat on. I am very low.
He probably did, but he probably didn't think he was very low. He probably thought that he was like on top of everything with this shit.
You know when you get the angel and the devil? The angel and the devil pops up and the angel goes, lick it, come on, give it a nice sniff. The devil, sorry, and then the angel's like, don't sniff it, don't lick it, that's weird. Oh no, you really want to do it. And then he's like, well, what have I got to lose? Like, oh, come on. I'm not letting that go.
No, it gets worse, obviously.
I know it gets worse, but that to me is just like, I don't even know.
So he asked her to come over again for dinner. She had a cassette recorder. He said he wanted to record her reading the poem out to him, and she was like, yeah, that's fine, that's cool. And she went over on the 11th of June 1981, and he prepared himself to fulfill his ultimate fantasy at this point. So when he arrived in Paris, like years before, he bought a .22 caliber rifle for self-protection, and he had it ready when Renee turned up at the apartment. He sat her on the floor, like Japanese style, to drink tea. He put whiskey in her drink to hopefully make her ease up a bit more, which is dodgy. Obviously, don't do that.
Hey, I can't fault a man for whiskey, because you know, Scotland's finest.
He's probably gone for like Aldi's own.
I mean, I don't drink alcohol, but Scots are proud of our whiskey.
I know. So they talked for a bit, and he waited for the whiskey to take a bit more of an effect. He then told Renee that he was in love with her and he wanted to take her to bed. And she was like, no, I only find you like as a friend, and I find you engaging but not sexually attractive. Which is fair. Like, fair enough. And I've seen a picture of him. No one fucking would be the cunt. So, like, it's fine. Like, fair. Because, like, I mean, I'm saying this as someone who knows what he's done. But
I know what he's done. Yeah. But, bro, you just got friend zoned.
Massive.
Wow.
Like, fucking suck it.
Oh, deserves it. Deserves it. I never like to say to someone, oh, you got friends on low, but this man deserves that. That's a kick right in the face, ain't it, mate?
Fuck you. So he nodded. He then got up to get the book of poetry while she sat down in the chair. He then handed the poem to her to read and started the recorder. While she read the poem in her native language, he came up behind her with his rifle and shot her in the back of the neck. She fell off the chair. He continued to talk to her, but obviously, you know, she's just been shot in the back of the neck, so she's not saying anything back. And he was surprised about how quiet it was. He then noticed the amount of blood that flowed out the back of her neck. At first he attempted to clean it up, but eventually he just kind of was like, fuck it, like, this is it now. He then... Alright, so sorry about this next bit, trigger warning, this part's a bit gross. So, he then undressed her, and he found it very difficult to remove her clothes, but he was pleased that now she couldn't refuse to sleep with him. She, in his eyes, now belonged to him, and only him. Then he got a knife and used it to cut off the tip of her left breast and a piece of her nose. Both of them he then ate raw. He said, I touched her hip and wondered where I should bite first. He chose her right butt cheek. Now, he found it difficult to bite into, and it hurt his jaw, apparently, or the thumbs. And then he realised he had a headache, so he was like, oh, this is exhausting. And he tried to cut into it with a fruit knife, but it didn't go through. And then he got up, went to the market, bought a meat carving knife, and then he went on to describe moment by moment the appearance of her fat and muscle and the taste of it. He later said in an interview with Vice that it always had to be the right butt cheek because the left butt cheek is closer to the heart and he's scared of blood. He's scared of blood, but he's willing to eat someone. The logic in this guy. So, this part's really fucking gross. So, as he said, as fat oozed out of one stab wound, he said it had the consistency and appearance of yellow corn. He smelled it and found that it had no odour. Cutting deeper into the flesh, he placed a chunk into his mouth and said, it melted into my mouth like raw tuna in a sushi restaurant. Matt's face!
Yeah. Yeah, okay. I like tuna. Tuna's quite nice. You having to describe it like that, mate, is... No. Why would it be described like tuna?
Why would it be described to look like yellow corn?
Yeah, I like corn as well.
Same.
I like actual corn as well, corn on the cob. See what I did there? Both corns.
Well done, well done.
That was good. But, you know, that's what gets me when people describe what it is, because, you know, it's not like a normal thing you could eat. You know how there's some foods you eat, and you go, oh, that kind of tastes like this. But it's so fucked with human flesh because nobody eats that. Nobody should. And when people eat it and go, it tasted like this, then it's like, because like how his brain just thought it was like that. Coming to that, because I would have never suspected someone to be like tuna of all things, you know.
Yeah. So he said that there was nothing more delicious, and he looked into Renee's dead eyes to tell her so. He was happy now that he'd finally completed this little fantasy of his that he'd had since he was a child. But then he got a bit more serious with it. So he used an electric carving knife and he began to cut her body into various parts. He laid out strips of flesh to store for later and nibbled on a few of the pieces raw. He then made a quick meal of fried human flesh with mustard. He took photographs of the mutilated body, which I've seen, which I regret seeing, and had sex with it. There's barely any of it left. There's like chunks missing and the dude's fucking, like, why? He then said, when I hug her, she lets out a breath. That's not a breath. She's not letting out a breath. That's not what that is. That's the body decomposing and it's letting out all the shit that's inside it. That's what that's doing. It's letting out the bit that's inside it. That's not her letting out a breath. That's just the body doing what happens after death.
You know, this is another thing what he's just done, right? He's eaten it raw.
Yeah.
And then he's just gone and went, you know what? Let's fry it.
Yeah.
You know.
It's like, oh, I tried it this way.
That's like, there's foods now, like, and it's getting me because as a Scottish person, we deep fry, we fry so much stuff. It's a Scottish thing that we fry stuff. But the fact is that, like, there's some foods that people eat normally, and over the years we've gone, well, maybe it's okay to do it that way, you know? You eat chips. And then at one point we've decided, well, chips can be okay in a sandwich, you know? And then that's alright. But the fact he's eaten the flesh raw, and then thought, well, I may as well be a little bit, you know, artsy-fartsy and fry it and have some mustard with it to...
Yeah, see, the mustard, that's
it's bad enough you eating it. It's bad enough you eating it, but then deciding, well, I'm going to try it in various other ways. That's fucked up. Mustard's bad within itself. I don't really like mustard too much. I can tolerate it in burgers and stuff, but having it like an actual side as a dip and no. In burgers and stuff, that's kind of okay. I can eat it at McDonald's because it's mixed in. Because I have burgers from McDonald's that would have ketchup, mayo, and mustard in it all in one. Yeah. Shoot me, I know. But the fact is he chose that. I like condiments. It's as if he's like trying to enjoy it more to make it like presentable, you know what I mean? Which is so messed up because there's so many foods that you eat just like as it is, and like occasionally you'll put other stuff there to make it a bit more better, you know what I mean? You've had a couple meals where you've just gone, I'll add a couple veg or I'll add some seasoning on it. Him adding the mustard to me is like, oh, I had it raw, but let's fancy it up a bit, you know. I've had it so much now that having it raw is just boring. Frying it and eating it with mustard is a much better way. And it's like, no.
Yeah, so he then cooked and ate more of her remains. He listened to the recording of her reading the poem while he did it. When he was finished, he used her underwear as a napkin to wipe his mouth. He then returned to her body, cut off a breast and baked it, but he didn't like the greasy consistency of it. So he said that he preferred the thighs. When he finally felt exhausted, he took what was left of her body into his bed to sleep with it. He knew that in the morning he would have to prepare to get rid of the evidence. The next day, finding that the body did not yet smell, he continued to try parts of it. In particular, the arm that had so fascinated him when they first met. He chewed on it all the way from the underarm to the elbow, and he said, I had no idea that it would taste so good.
No, preferencing parts you want to eat. No. I'm sorry for shouting, but this man's stew's messed up, man. You know, there's been tons of human evolution where we've got to the point where, I find somebody attractive because they have nice eyes. Because throughout human history, we've looked at people's eyes and it's been the reason people like them. I know the face is the best way people like some... Well, I don't know if it was research, but people say that the face is one of the most common ways people find someone attractive. Other people might be like, certain men are like, I like the person's honkers, ass, fat ass. But, you know, we've developed that through history. But the fact that, you know, cannibalism's not a normal thing people do, and he's suddenly just done it, and already preferencing bits, and it's his first time, that's messed up. There's so many things that you do, and you have to do it for so long to then be like, yes, I like this, you know what I mean? I know it's not on the same level, but you listen to Bullet for My Valentine, and you've listened to it for so long that you can now say, okay, this is my favourite album, this is my favourite song, because you did it for so long. Mm-hmm. There's no way that you could have just listened to something and just gone, first time I listened to it, and that's it, and it's never going to change, that's it whatsoever, and just, you know, haven't listened to anything else. It's a weird way to compare it, but I compare everything to music. But it's this point's messed up, just preferencing the thigh. And you've only done cannibalism once. That's just get a grip, mate. Get a grip and fucking hell, bro.
So he was then curious about a few more body parts that seemed more repulsive. He hesitated over what he should do with it, but he decided to, just go for it. So he cut out the anus, put it into his mouth, but the smell overpowered him, so he spat it out. He tried frying it, but that failed to diminish the odor, so he gave up and returned to the rest of the body.
I haven't mentioned it, but like he fucking slept with a dead body. Bro, you're doing everything that's fucked. Can we just take a minute to think about why people think it's alright to sleep with someone who's dead? It's not. Why? What? That's wrong. That's, what possessed you? The fact that he cut her and then did that afterwards, and then slept with. There's so much about that's making me feel so inside. Just I'm like this inside, like shaking of just like that. There's humans like him that are doing that and thinking this is fine. It's not. Don't sleep with anyone who's dead. Fathering the concept of why people do that. Why does the brain think that though? Why do people get to that point where they think lifeless is like a turn on? It's just not. Oh God. Ah.
Yeah, so many flies obviously started to go around her body at this point, so he took this as a sign that it's kind of done. It's done. So then he used a hatchet to chop her into pieces that would fit into the suitcases that he'd bought for this. Yet, even as he dismembered her, he grew excited, so he used her hand to masturbate. He then...
Nah, you can't be serious.
He did.
No, bro. Oh, fuck.
He then chewed on her nose and heard the noise of the cartilage crunching. Since he'd often thought about chewing her lip, he removed it and set it aside, and he would keep it for later pleasures, in his words. He said, "I want her tongue, but I can't open her lower jaw, but I can reach in between her teeth. Finally, it comes out." He cut it off, popped it into his mouth, and watched himself chewing it in the mirror. Then he went for the eyes. The final step...
No, hold up. Revert back to the hand thing. I am in no way ever gonna fucking let that go. That is just...
It's fucking disgusting.
I mean, hey, look. You're a girl, right?
Yeah.
But I'm a man. And I can admit, I'm a man. You know I've done it. Men do it. Come on. It's just a thing. Self-pleasure. There's nothing wrong with that. It's there. People do that. We're not discriminating on anyone who does that.
No.
But cutting victim's hand.
But don't cut someone's hand, and use it.
Using that instead of your own to do that. What? Oh. I can't fathom that. Like, it's normal for your partner to do it for you. Well, I wouldn't know, but like that's normal. But having other objects to do it, and like someone's cut off hand, I'm getting images every time you explain some of this stuff, and it's in my mind. I'm just completely grossed out. There's limits to where I think things can go, but he's taken that to a complete other limit, and now I cannot see things the same again because of that.
No.
Just.
Yeah, it is. It's fucking gross. So, the final step was for him to explore the organs, which basically stung his hands with digestive acid, and then he used the hatchet to cut off her head. With so many parts removed, it looked like a skull. He grabbed the hair and hung the head in front of him, and he then said, "I realized in that moment I am a cannibal." It's like, oh, now you realise. Now it clocks. Okay, that's okay.
You have a literature degree, but at that point you just realised, whoa, what? Has your IQ level just suddenly dropped and then went back up to normal IQ once you're done?
So he then put all the pieces in the suitcase, locked them inside, and it was midnight at this point of the second day, and he called a cab. So he arrived at the Bois de Boulogne. He threw the suitcase into the park, intended to shove them into a pond. However, he had a difficult time because it was too heavy. He then spotted some people watching him and he got scared and just left the suitcase there. So the couple went closer and saw a female hand coming from one of the blood-stained cases, so they called the police. The police opened the suitcases, found the remains, and began the task of tracing the bags back to the person who bought them. In the meantime, he returned to his apartment to enjoy the pieces of Renee that he had put into the fridge. He then had another meal with her remains and looked through a lot of porn while he did it. Each day that went by, he had piece after piece, claiming that it became sweeter with each time he had a piece of his victim. So, a little thing to add about cannibalism is 100% mostly a erotic or sexual fetish. That basically, that's the reason why a lot of people are that so many people become cannibals. It's a massive power thing. It's a whole, a lot of research has gone into why people have started doing this. So far as back into the 1800s, there was a cannibal in 1864 who he murdered a woman by strangulation, cut off her breasts and genitalia, and then cooked them and ate them. Now, this is the 1800s, and hygiene was fucking horrific back then, so you dirty bastard. And this was all because it was a sexual impulse. It's very much known as a sexual thing that people do this because it's all about the power and becoming part of their victim in that kind of way. So this is basically what was going on with him. He was 100% doing it for like a sexual thing.
It is, but there is cases where it's not.
Yeah, some cases it's not.
For more or less the general public, because I don't know if you know about North Sentinel Island.
No, yeah, I do.
Yes, if anyone doesn't know, North Sentinel Island, by the way, if you ever watch, it was featured in a video I watched of top 10 places that you just cannot visit in the world. You do, because people don't realise there's some places in the world that you physically cannot go to, not because you can't get there like by travel. You could go there, but you're just not allowed to. And weirdly, just to sidetrack, there was a place in Greece where you could only visit if you were a man. They didn't allow women in. How sexist is that? But North Sentinel Island is an island off of this, one of these sets of islands which are governed by India. And it's infamous because there's an indigenous tribe on there. Indigenous meaning their contact with human society as we know it today is pretty limitless. They live like cavemen. But it's known that they've done cannibalism because maybe we cover this case, I don't know. I can't remember the guy's name. But there was a Christian man from America who went there to try and convert the tribe to Christianity or religion. Bearing in mind these people don't even know probably what religion is. But he illegally travelled to the island because you can't go there, you'll get fined for it, because he went on a boat that these two people, obviously, these two Indian folk allowed him illegally to travel within a certain radius on the boat, etc., etc. Went for one day, but there was one day that he went on the island and obviously didn't return. And it's believed that he was killed and cannibalised by the tribe that was there.
Probably.
And obviously he's died because they've not found his remains. But that's a case where it's an indigenous tribe and they're not doing it for a sexual fantasy. It's because, well, he's seen as a threat and they're killing him and eating him as a way of showing that they've got dominance, if you will. Because I think that's what the indigenous tribes do. They'll just, you know, to other outsiders, they're seen as threats because they don't know what mainland society is, because they're so blocked off from the world that they killed him and obviously ate him, which is probably a normal thing for them because they don't know what's right or wrong, and obviously he's seen as a threat, and they've killed him and ate him as like a never come again, this is what you get sort of thing. So that's a case I know of where I think it's not sexual, but most of the times, like you said, the other ones I know from people who are more or less 21st century or like 20th century, you know, or whatever century, etc., and are not indigenous people that have had connections with the main world and society, it's been sort of sexual.
Oh, yeah. So obviously they eventually find him. So they go to his apartment 2 days after the murder with a search warrant. He let them in with literally no issues. They then opened the fridge and found pieces of a female body inside, including her lips. He straight away confessed to what he did, with no remorse, adding that he had a history of mental illnesses, which he doesn't. And in fact, his descriptions were so detailed and shocking that a judge decided that he was not competent to stand trial, and he was clearly delusional because he was so specific with every ounce of detail. And 3 psychiatrists who evaluated him said that he'd never be cured. Now, according to Brian King, who edited Lust Mode while in hospital, Sagawa corresponded with several members of the Japanese literati who sent him books about other cannibals, and he said, unquote, "I realized I was not so unusual," and he also said that he learned how to go about such a crime without getting arrested. So his rich dad, remember, eventually worked out a deal in 1984 to have him transferred to a psychiatric hospital in Japan. The superintendent believed that he was insane and ought to be in prison, but Sagawa was only there for 15 months before he was given his freedom in August 1985, again thanks to his father, and this was against the advice of the superintendent. But after killing a woman and consuming her remains, he was able to go freely into society only 5 years after committing the crime. He was even granted a passport to Germany. So this guy is free. What made the situation worse was how he reveled in what he did and was only too happy to tell many people about it on many television talk shows. He even agreed to appear in several Japanese porn movies, and he wrote 4 books. The one in which he described in details about the murder sold over 200,000 copies. Thanks to
he was in porn movies in Japan?
Yeah.
What, like, actually, as engaging in the...
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, like, when I said he's a celebrity over there, I'm not joking.
I mean, God forbid, hope you haven't watched any of his movies.
No, fuck no. That would traumatize me for life. So, like, his dad... thanks to his dad, he'd gone away with murder, and he was very proud of it. He had no remorse in the slightest. He enjoys being the focus of tabloid media. He does interviews all the time and makes videos to indulge people in the curiosity of those who want to get closer to someone who has eaten human flesh. He apparently finds the attention amusing and does not feel that he did anything wrong. He said, unquote, "The public has made me the godfather of cannibalism, and I'm happy about that." The Rolling Stones wrote and recorded a song about his crime called Too Much Blood, and he tried his hand at a comic book version of his story, so he tried to write his own comic book. He also wrote a weekly column for a tabloid, edited an anthology of cannibal fantasies, and was featured on the cover of a Japanese gourmet magazine. Under an assumed name, he even managed to get women to pose nude for him. On his website, he has a website, guys, you want to go check that out. On his website, he offers experts from his little bits from his rendition of his crime and discusses why cannibalism is not such a horrific act. For those who want to see his sick artwork. He shows examples of his paintings, he shows examples of his paintings on his websites, and most of his paintings feature around literally women's asses, all fleshy, and they're all white women. It's basically like his victim, pretty much just the art of his victim. In a magazine article, he said that he said that he envisions himself being eaten by a young Western woman because he insists an act like that will be the only thing to save him.
Damn, I actually didn't know that.
Yeah, he's a full celebrity.
That Stones song was gone, man. I actually know that. I know. I had heard of the title because it's on Undercover, which is an okay album. You know, it did reach #1 in the US, which a lot of the albums had previously before that, but I didn't know that. But I guess it is something people can write about. But the fact that I think he's, you know, his willingness to explain stuff is very fucked up, but at the same time, he's more like a test subject in a way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where, and I don't like to say that in a good way, but the fact is that he can, like, be used, and he's willingly saying, I did this stuff, but if you want to know what I thought, etc., so we can learn how the brain works, he's actually helped us a little bit in kind of figuring out how psychos work, but he is money laundering off of a horrible crime. You know what I mean? He's doing interviews which he would have gotten paid for. The porn shoots he would have got paid for. You know, he's not a big celebrity here, but I'm assuming in Japan he's just a name.
Yeah, in Japan he's a pretty big celebrity. Which is really fucked up, and he's been doing all these paintings and stuff like that, and like I said, he's a fucking shit painter, but you know, like, but he has loads of pictures that he's drawn that if you watch the Vice interview, if you are old enough, you can watch the Vice interview. It's on YouTube. Just type in his name on YouTube and it'll be the first thing that pops up, but you do see a lot of the images from the pictures that he took of the crime, so you will see Renee's body during the process, and then you do also see the pictures that he's drawn, which are ones of her, and then there are also of, basically he's drew out what he did. He drew himself doing the things to her, basically, and that's what his paintings are all about, and he's making money off all this shit. So one thing I want to show you, if anyone who is watching these videos as well, I'm going to show you a picture of him and how he looks right now, because this is how he looks, so I feel like you all need to know how he looks, just in case you ever bump into the cunt. This is him right there. He's a horrible human being. Remember that face, unfortunately. But remember it, because, yeah. And then this is Renee. I feel like it's very important that I show what Renee looks like right there. So this is Renee, the poor girl who lost her life because of this horrific piece of shit who has literally gone away with it. So yeah, that is the case of Issei Sagawa, and he is a piece of shit who, let's see how old he is. Let's just see how...
Well, I think he's 73, I think?
Yeah, he's 73. He's 4'9". He's smaller than me. But yeah...
I mean, it's so weird that his post-release, he's just, unlike most people, not hidden away, and that he's almost been praised in certain places. Like, I feel Japan are praising him, the fact that he's doing interviews and stuff, you know, like, oh, you've done this, but you're successful after this sort of thing, and it's wrong. Like, he's a killer. He should not be, you know, the only way people would be in the media, like Jeffrey Dahmer, is like because he did an interview.
Yeah.
And he didn't do anything else. It's not like, oh, hey, Jeffrey, you know, do some other stuff.
And he did the interview in prison.
Yeah. The fact he's doing other stuff, so all this, like,
Like, the interview with Vice is done in his flat in Japan.
Yeah, like, is his English quite well?
He speaks in Japanese the entire time.
Yeah. Ah. Oh, no way! His crime also inspired the song La Folie by the Stranglers, featured on the album La Folie, which features the infamous song Golden Brown, which is a tune. It's a couple... What other stuff is there? Oh, wow, this noise black metal band Gnaw Their Tongues. Released an EP under his name, which has his face on it. Wow.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have. But yeah, here's the thing I remember when I knew a little bit when I just googled his name. He can no longer find publishers for his writing and has struggled to find employment, but he was nearly accepted by a French language school because the manager was impressed by his courage in using his real name. What? Oh, I wouldn't. I mean, why would you praise someone for using their fucking real name? He's a criminal. His real name should be out there. Should be known for folk. But I'm tempted to watch some of the stuff in Japan because I'm not hating on Japan, but they do some stuff completely differently from us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Like, this case, I think in particular shows a little bit of the differences in media from the west to the east.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. Where, like, places like the west, where, yes, Australia is more or less the west because they do everything like us. Australia, UK, USA, you know, and Europe, and some South America as well. You know, so some stuff sort of similar, but I feel like the East and Japan, especially with their game shows and all stuff, it's so weird. And the fact that they're willy-nilly have a criminal that they're showing on telly. Like, in the UK, we don't do that.
No.
You know, if there's a criminal, there's a criminal. You get in the news and you get outed it for a criminal. And if someone was, like, released, you know, nobody would be trying to, like, glorify them or be like, hey, do this sort of thing. It's just wrong. And the fact Japan's doing that's very weird, you know. Do you think they're acknowledging the fact that he's a killer, or are they just trying to use that profit thing?
I think it's a bit of both. I think it's a profit thing, but they do talk. But that's all he bloody talks about.
Because at one point, they must think, crap, you know, we should not be having this guy on. Is there no point where they stop and think, well, he's a convicted killer. We're having him glorified more than we should. You know, but, you know, having the name out there is enough for folk. You don't need to have him on shows and do interviews, and because anyone watching, or like kids watching, could be like, who's that man on the telly?
It's like, oh, he did this. And then they'll just Google him, and then they see all the bloody crime scene shit.
But, you know,
but yeah,
he's something to learn off. That's for sure. The fact that how graphic and everything he did in a weird way, and I guess we can use this as a way to examine the brain more and how fucked up people can get. Because this guy's gone on very fucked levels, but. You know.
Yeah, exactly. I'll try and come up with some helplines for this episode because it's going to be a bit difficult, I think. But I'll get some. Don't worry about it. There's going to be a few facts and stuff like that going up on our Instagram throughout the week, 100%. About this guy, unfortunately, but we gotta do it. What? You know, we gotta do it.
We have to, and you know, we're not saying that it's just because he's Japanese that he acted this way. There could have been anyone from any country that acts this way, but Japan just happened to. And the thing I do want to mention is, it's another case of, I find it quite sad that the victim happened to be in France. He just left and's gone to some country and unwillingly caused a crime there. I always hate it when someone, you know, it's bad enough them doing it in their home country, but when they fly somewhere else and commit it somewhere else that's not theirs,
it makes it worse.
It makes it worse that this person, you know, because foreigners, you know, everyone's different. You know, not everyone in the world can just like get on and understand. You know, we've all gone abroad, and I feel as though she was easily wooed by a Japanese foreigner, English and stuff, not talked it, and she spoke in her language. There was barriers there. she was led probably easily.
Yeah.
And he just used his, the barriers that were there probably caused it to get way worse. And who knows what else he could have done. I mean, to be fair, the good thing is, though, he got caught probably very easily because he's a foreigner in France.
It wasn't even just that. It wasn't even that. There was because he just left the suitcases out in the open. Oh, he left the
suitcase there, yeah.
Yeah, he left the suitcase out in the open in the park, and then they just traced back.
Traced the DNA. Well, he's got a pretty distinctive look, and the people that saw him would have been like, "That's the man."
Yeah, they just traced it back to him. It was quite an easy way of catching him, but. Yeah, unfortunately, that was one of the most detailed cases I'm pretty sure I've ever had to say. It was very disgusting.
Probably the most detailed we've done, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's on the fact for him. He went into that graphic detail. So.
Next week's one, next week's one's a bit different as well in a way. Not a serial killer again, but was very close to becoming one. Next week is about 7-year-old Mary Bell, who killed 2 other kids when she was literally 7 years old. So, we're going to be going into that one next week. And then the week after that, I'm thinking Bundy. Give you that traveling down to Download Festival or on your way back from Download Festival listen through. Like, that will last you the entire journey. We'll go through that. But yeah, but make sure you guys check out our Instagram for all updates and everything. We pretty much post on there daily, so make sure you go over there to check out all that kind of stuff. It's True Crime Friday Podcast on there, and if you are listening to this on Spotify or whatever else, there is a video version of this going up on YouTube. It might also be available on Spotify as well, but there is now a video version of this. It's the first time we're doing video.
We are on YouTube.
We are on YouTube on a True Crime Friday Podcast.
We have to say it though. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, like every other YouTuber says, and hit that bell. You get the notifications.
Yeah, and don't forget.
Come on, you have to say it.
Don't forget, guys, to like and subscribe and hit that notification button so you can get updates on whenever we upload. Do that for Spotify as well, because you can also do that there. And possibly give us a 5-star rating if you enjoyed it. It really helps us, because we'd always like to know what you guys think of the episodes. We love getting messages from you guys saying how much you're enjoying them. That means a whole lot to us.
It does.
Yes. Thank you guys for listening. And we'll see you guys next week with a not as fucked up of a case. But, bye!
Bye!